Alright guys, Croatia have just beaten Turkey away from home by 2-0 in a game where I think it showed the class of Croatia, because it wasn't a game where they exactly dominated it. In fact, I would say Turkey probably had the more of the ball in the opposition's half, but it was Croatia who were ruthless and took their chances when they came to them. Turkey, first 15 minutes, it looked like they were going to cause Croatia some serious problems throughout the game, and they did in the first 15 minutes, using players like Cengiz Under on the right and Aktakoglu on the left. They were causing all sorts of problems to Stanisic and Barisic, the fullbacks, as well as Suklo and Josko Gvardiol, the two centre-backs. And it just didn't continue. Croatia managed to get a goal through Mateo Kovacic. A bit against the run of play. I think that's definitely fair to say. It came from a good attack down the right from Croatia, and there was a bit of like a to me to you moment between Pasalic and Perisic before it fell to Kovacic, and he just sort of said, right, if you two won't finish it, I will. And yeah, Kovacic ended up getting two in the end. The second one was just a brilliant follow-up from a shot from Pasalic, which was saved. And it was great timing from Kovacic, right place, the right time, can't fault it at all. And I think I heard the commentator say that he'd only scored 3 in his first 90-odd appearances for Croatia, and he scored 2 tonight, so he's nearly doubled his entire goal tally in one game after playing about 90 games for Croatia. So that's not a bad evening for him. I know goals aren't exactly Kovacic's game, really. It's more about what he does with the ball in terms of setting up goals. But I don't even think his assist numbers are that high. It's more just keeping things ticking, carrying the ball up the pitch, and then starting off attacks more than anything. But yeah, it is a brilliant midfield trio that Croatia have in Modric, Brozovic and Kovacic. That it works superbly, that there's a really nice balance. And that's why they've been successful. I think the biggest reason for it is their midfield. But the one player for me who was man of the match in this game, he didn't actually have ridiculous amount of saves to make. But for me, Livakovic, who was arguably the best goalkeeper at the World Cup just gone by. I think him and Emi Martinez were the two outstanding goalkeepers. I know there's others you could throw into that potential conversation, like Bono. Bono for Morocco was brilliant. Pickford for England. You know, there's plenty of other goalkeepers who did very well, but they were the two standout ones for me. And Livakovic in this game made 3 what I would say are world-class saves, especially the one at the end where Cenk Tosun, who came off the bench for Turkey, just struck it really close range, lots of power. And Livakovic just, reacted ridiculously quickly and has managed to palm it away. And there was a couple early on in the first half that he had to save as well. The one where he tipped it round the post in the first half was another brilliant stop. So, yeah, I know he's not like exactly a youngster, Livakovic, but he's 28 now. That's not old for a goalkeeper, but it's one of them where teams, usually when it comes to goalkeepers, like outfield players, big teams, if they want someone who they feel as though is a guarantee to be playing for a club for the next 5 years, they'll look to the age group of anywhere really below the age of 27, I'd say. But for goalkeepers, it's probably up until 30. So I don't think that'll put people off. But what it does mean is that it's not going to be like a David De Gea at Man United, where he stays at the club for like over a decade now. How long? I think this is De Gea's 12th year at Man United now. 2011, I think he joined when Edwin van der Sar retired. So yeah, he'll still, have a good 7 years at least, I would imagine, if he does go to a big club. And I can see it happening as well. like the level he is playing at club level, he could definitely improve on that, I think, and that there will be teams who are interested in him. Like, for example, the best example is probably right now Tottenham. They're going to need a new goalkeeper to replace Hugo Lloris, because he's getting on in his career. I think Lloris is 36 this year, if not already. So they're probably the one Premier League club who haven't really got a nailed on starting goalkeeper for the next 4 or 5 years. I think anyway. So even Man United, there's questions over David De Gea's future. Although I think Livakovic is the best part of his game is shot stopping, which De Gea is very good at. But I think Ten Hag would be looking towards someone like maybe David Raya at Brentford, or Robert Sanchez at Brighton, although he's not been in good form recently, but someone who can use their feet a bit more. I feel as though Livakovic's best ability is definitely his world-class shot stopping. So yeah, and he was brilliant in this game, as I mentioned once again. But yeah, Turkey, they didn't create enough clear-cut opportunities, I didn't feel, after a bright first 15 minutes. I think the goal that Croatia scored against the run of play was a bit of a hammer blow to them. And they had a lot of the ball at certain points in the game, but weren't able to do a lot with it. So yeah, it'll be one of them where it feels a little bit disappointing for them, I think. One of the talking points of the second half was actually Gvardiol not being too far away from getting himself sent off, because he put in a really strong challenge where he sort of skimmed the ball. He made contact with the ball, but it wasn't clean contact at all. He sort of scraped the ball and it's like sort of spun about a yard away from him. And he has caught the man, and his studs are going up. He hasn't caught the man with his studs. He's sort of, just done enough to bring the opposition player down. I can't remember who it was who he had brought down, but it wasn't a great tackle at all. It might have been Unal up front who he brought down, but if his foot had gone like an inch to the right and had caught the Turkish player halfway up the leg, then that's an instant red card. And there were moments though where Gvardiol showed pieces of like really good defending. Like I remember there was one point where Cengiz undercuts inside on his left with about 15-20 minutes to go, and gets shot off, but he curls it round the post, because Under knows that if he tries to get it, it's like if he just hits it straight towards the far corner, Gvardiol's got it covered. So Gvardiol knows where to position himself clearly in moments like that, which is a very good instinct and ability for a defender to have. So because it's basically forcing the attacking player to shoot on the side of the goal that he's not comfortable with. So there are little things like that to his game which I'm impressed by, but I'm not 100% sold on him. I know he did have a brilliant World Cup, Gvardiol, and I'm not saying he's a bad player. He could go on to be a very good defender. I mean, he's only 20-21 for Christ's sake. Like, you can't judge him just yet in his career. Like, he could go on to be the best defender in the world. He definitely has the potential to do so. But what I'm trying to point out is, I don't think if a big club signs him, let's just pluck one out of the air. Like, say if Manchester City sign him, or, well, they don't really need to Liverpool sign him. Liverpool could possibly do with another centre-back right now, but say if Liverpool sign him, I wouldn't expect him to be the best defender in the world straight away. I'd expect him to make mistakes early on in his Liverpool career, and gradually improve is what I'd expect from him, because he is a young defender and can be a little bit maybe reckless at times. Maybe not reckless, but like rash in terms of decision making, like maybe be almost too keen to win the ball rather than hold his position, things like that. So I still think he's a very good player, but I'm just not convinced straight away that he's worth £100 million, is the point I'm trying to get towards here. which is what his supposed release clause at Leipzig is meant to be. I don't think it's really worth paying that for any centre-back, to be honest, because I think... I'm not trying to say that strikers are better than defenders, because that's a stupid argument, but what I'm trying to say is I think the market for centre-backs, it's much easier to get a centre-back for 30 or 40 million and guarantee a good quality centre-back than it is to get a striker for 30, 40 million, because with strikers, for example, you know what you want from them. The main aim for most strikers is to score goals or goal contributions, and there's a definite way of looking up at statistics for that. You just look at goal and assist charts, whereas for centre-backs there's loads of different things, tackles and interceptions, passing stats, like there's loads, aerial duels, everything. So it's much harder to identify which ones are the best bargain buys, whereas strikers, the selling team knows what price tag to give, because big teams want to guarantee that they're getting a good player if they're going to pay big money, if that makes sense. I don't know if I've explained that very well, but it's much easier to get a bargain for a defender than it is for a striker. So I think there are maybe cheaper alternatives to someone like Josko Gvardiol, who can still do a job for a big team, rather than forking out nine figures to sign Gvardiol. But yeah, Croatia, in the end, they did enough to beat Turkey. Turkey weren't lethal enough in front of goal in the opportunities they had to score. So, that's something they need to work on. But after a bit of a disappointing result on Saturday for Croatia, this is a much better one, away at a tough place to go. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.